Okay, so then I would like you to follow the, let's follow together the instructions on the script. But so the first thing that we are going to do is to open a 3D structure from the protein data bank. So of course you can open files that you have in the computer, but we have structures in this database, and so you have to type this identifier 3PZD. So you have here in Chimera file fetch by ID. Okay, and then you just have a window like this, and then you type there. Okay, and so you should have already the structure available. And so this is human myosin 10. And the first particularity is that it is in this PDB file is identified as chain A, and it's in complex with a peptide that is, it will be identified as chain B. So when we have a complex, and here we cannot see this immediately, but we can make it obvious later, you have each of the molecules of the complex is identified as a chain with a letter. Could be A, B, C, or could be other set X, Y, or something like this. Okay. So this is exercise 1. If you did this already, congratulations. So this is important now. To close the session is a way to get out. If you have problems with the visualization, you get too close, you don't know what to do. I cannot see what I wanted to say. To see, you can, in file, you can close the session, and opening is relatively easy because on the right side, you have links to the molecules that you opened recently. So you can just click there, and then you are back to the original view. Okay, so that's exercise 2. I go on, speak up, please. Feedback is wonderful. So of course you intuitively you can already try moving with the mouse the structure. You can zoom in and out with the wheel if you have one, or with the right button of the mouse, depending on the configurations. And the other thing is that there's a transcript. Okay, sorry. I have to ask a technical question myself. I see a transcript on the side of my screen, but this is, you don't see this, or is this coming into the chat? I guess not.
I think everything is correct.
Okay, perfect. Good. Then I go on. So another important thing is that when you pause the mouse on a residue, you should see a small label indicating you the chain where the residue is located and the numbering. So please try this, and this is going to be very important, and it's actually very helpful if you want to look for features in the structure. So so I go here, I see ASP 1763A indicating me that is chain A, and I know already because I work always with this example, so I know that here there is another molecule, and so the residue is identified as GLN, glutamine 1436, but it has a stop and a B, indicating that it's from chain B, you see. So when I put here is chain A, a lysine, and if I pause here is a glutamine from chain B. Okay, so the first question that I have here is find residue 1723 in chain A. So for this, you have to follow, it's a small game, so you have to follow, go somewhere in the structure, see the label, and then see how to go up or down in the sequence until you find this residue. And then the question is which type of amino acid it is, and what is the secondary structure conformation of this residue. And you have seen this before. So the alpha helices, we are using ribbon representation. In particular, alpha helices are like this. Let's say, I don't know the term muelles, going springs, okay, going like this. and the arrows will be beta strands, of course. And then we have things that are in coil conformation going like this. So I give you a bit of time to search for this.
Is it possible to look for a specific position, like for example 1723, by like typing it in, or is it always, you know, searching it?
It is, but I wanted you to because sometimes you want to see things quickly, so I wanted you to. It is possible, yes. But I will show you in a moment.
Okay, thank you.
But not
Sorry?
yet, not yet. Yes.
Can you please don't put the yes?
Yes.
There
Sorry.
you can see the picture. Thank you.
Yes. Makes sense.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask if I'm the only one where it doesn't work. If I lay my cursor on a part.
Oh, okay. This is, yeah. So it may be sometimes for a small. I'm sorry about that. For a small amount of users, they may be. It happens very rarely. Depends on the computer. Sometimes I don't know exactly how to fix that. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
It worked for me as well.
I had to click on it and then I saw it, like I had to click on the area and then it popped up.
That's a good advice. So please.
Yeah, that didn't work, unfortunately, either.
Please, everybody keeps talking. I
Yeah.
really love to hear your voices. Because
You could also try to press Shift. So that worked for me.
Thank you very much. How do I? Okay. Yeah.
I went on tools and sequence to find it.
Yeah. But wait, don't. Yeah, we will get there. Don't worry. So did someone find the residue 1723?
Yes, I found it.
So
Yes.
what is it?
It's glue.
Glycine.
Glycine, yes.
Better you learn this for the exam. Sorry. Which type of secondary structure it is? If you.
Alpha helix?
Yes, correct. Okay, so I try to be. So you see, I go here, 1570. I go in this direction. It's higher, so I can just say, okay, more or less. You know, I move around at least like this, and then I'm here, 1692. I'm getting close. Here, and then 1721. And then I have to turn around, and then 724 too far. 724, I cannot see. So you have to keep moving, and then eventually here. So glycine 1723, and it is alpha helix. Okay, so this kind of ribbon, like a spring. Now I have the word. It's alpha helix going to the right. This is important. And then these are the beta strands. Okay. Good.
This might be a little bit of a stupid question, but
please. Yes.
A single amino acid or residue can't be a secondary structure, right? It's just part
that's
of
correct.
The alpha helix. Okay.
That's correct. You need that would be a very good question for the exam. You need. I would think that for alpha helix you need at least one turn. Probably, I think you would need 3 to 4 residues, and for a beta strand, I would think that with the betas is going up and down, up, down, up, down. So yeah, with 2, I think I would be too small, like 3. Maybe with 2 you could already say, you go to the Ramachandran plot, and if you have 2 consecutive residues that go up, down, that probably you could define already a beta strand. But this is a representation. Okay, so it's you could have the PDB, and this is in the video. The PDB are atomic coordinates, and this what we see here is a representation that help us to understand those coordinates. But different programs could represent slightly different the things. Okay, let's try to move on a bit. So this is important. for us now to work, not for the exam. So what we are looking at is in this particular case, and in many cases in the PDB, is a fragment of a protein. And the numbers in this PDB correspond to the position in the complete protein, so that you should not be surprised if you, let's see, is this the, this is the, I'm pointing to the start of chain B, and the number is 1409. Okay, and at the end here of chain B is 1443. So this is a fragment of a protein. In the other case, it's also a fragment of a protein. So the crystal structure, which data we are looking at, is from fragments of two proteins interacting. Okay, now there are some gaps, maybe you notice already, between positions. They are represented by thin lines. And the question is, what do they mean? So maybe you can already figure out based on your knowledge and on the talk. So I'm pointing now, for example, at one of them. I hope you can see it in your screens. So this goes the gap. If I pause in the line, I can see that I have some information, but basically it's telling me that goes from residue 1963 to residue 1967. So those residues are not visible here. Can someone guess why this could be the case? There may be multiple answers to the question.
Hydrogen binds.
No. So this is the I see the line is just telling us, and maybe the representation is not the best, that something is missing, that we don't have. They could be, if we could see those residues, maybe if you see my pointer, the residues would go here, and they would be like this. The four of them, they will be here represented somehow, and then they would go here, but they are invisible to us. Why this could be the case? Why they are not in this representation or in the PDE? Why we don't have coordinates? Basically, we don't have coordinates for those residues.
See the backbone?
No, not really.
Because
yes, please.
Because the peptide bond is on the side chain, not on the backbone. Okay.
For X-ray, we will see this on Monday. So you need to crystallize the protein, and the protein has to be it should not move around. Should be in a crystal, should be fixed so that the X-ray works. And you may have parts of the protein that are very flexible, so flexible that they cannot be resolved in the structure. So the problem with these parts that are missing is that we don't have atomic coordinates because they are very flexible. So we would not be able to give them a structure like these others. You see here we say this is a helix, and it's a helix because it's not moving very much. You know, it will be wobbling a bit in reality, but it's more or less all the time there. But you may have in a protein, you may have disordered parts, and those cannot be modeled. Their structure cannot be modeled. Of course, you can model it, but it would be something that you would not be sure. You know, whereas for these parts, we more or less guess the structure. Do you follow this? Imagine disorder, something that is moving, whereas these parts would be fixed, like rocks. Okay.
Yep.
Very good. So there's another molecule that is there that we are going to play with a bit, which is a molecule of glycerol. So in this particular protein representation, there's a different representation. If you rotate a bit, you will see that it has this colored. The colors are preset. Okay, and so the oxygens are colored in red for some reason. Okay. Good. Moving on. So now, yeah, of course you can click on things and select things. So we are going to, for example, you can control and click to select a single residue. Okay, so we are trying selections now. So if you go somewhere, so you press Control and you click, and then you have this selection in green. Okay, so you can try different ones. But also in the menu, you can select a whole chain. So now,
Sorry, it doesn't work by me at all.
what
Ich
is-
kann, I can neither see if I put the pointer on some parts, nor does it work with shift and click on.
okay, it's not, but it's not shift. Is the
Control.
in
Sorry,
German,
control.
it's
No,
control.
it
Yeah,
doesn't. It doesn't work
with control
anyway.
also. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I don't know. I hope it's not happening to many of you. Just watch the presentation as we speak. And I'm sorry. Maybe in the future, if you can find a computer where this works, maybe you can do the test. But I hope at least you get the idea of how the program works. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
So if you go to, there is a menu in the menu. There is a select option, and if you use the select chain, so I would like you to use that option to select the chain B, and to tell me what is the most abundant secondary structure for this chain.
Abundant means?
Sorry?
What means abundant?
Like that the one that you can see
Häufig.
most. Yeah.
Is it the alpha helix?
Yes. Yes. So let's do this. Okay. So I go. I'm not seeing anything. I don't know. But then I say, okay, select chain B. Ah, there it is. And yes, so we can see here is alpha helix and a second alpha helix and a bit of a coil, right? No beta strand, so it's mostly helix. Small one. Another thing we can do that we are going to use is to select and then to define a zone, which you should use the default range, which is 5 angstroms. So if you have a selection and then you select a zone, it will select everything that is in the range of what you say. Okay. So let's see, for example, okay, I make you an example. The option is, again, the option is in select and zone is over here. Okay, and it's, so you should get a window and then it has options. Today, just use the default, which is select everything less than 5 angstroms, but it could be complicated. You could select things that are at more than 5 angstroms and less than 10. But basically 5 angstroms is nice because it's like telling us the contacts of the region. So for example, I have selected here, I have the selection of the chain B, and maybe I would like to know which residues in chain A are in contact with this peptide. So if I keep that selection and I say select zone and I use the default, then you see that my selection has expanded a bit. And for example, all the residues of this beta strand are selected now. Okay, this is a bit difficult to see, but we are going to start coloring things in a moment, and everything will become a bit more colorful and easy to see. Okay, so a bit more about selections. So if you have, let's say now that you select one residue, sorry that I'm covering again, but say I control click here, sorry, I click somewhere. I control click here, okay? And now if you have selected a residue, if you, now with the arrows, is very nice because if you go up, so I click arrow up once, and then I'm selecting the secondary structure element where the residue is sitting. And then if I go up again, I select the chain where the secondary element is sitting. And if I go up again, I had to hit twice. I select everything. Okay, but if I go down, the program remembers. Okay, so I go down, 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 and I'm down at the residue. Okay, so up, down. Okay, and then for sorry,
I've got a question. How do you go up and down with
the arrows in your keyboard? Arrow up, arrow down. I hope
so
you
you
have
just
them.
have to put So you just have to choose select zone.
Yes. So no. So now say that you control click on a residue, like I do here now. Okay, I did control click, and now I go up once. I have one secondary structure element, arrow up, selects the entire chain. Now I'm in chain A, and up selects everything again. And if I go down, I go back to the selection I had. Okay.
Okay.
And then for in case it would be interesting, I don't know if so if I have a selection here, I'm selecting one chain, and now if I hit left or right arrows, then inverts the selection. So it will select everything that was not selected, it will be selected. So in case you ever need this, could be an interesting feature. Okay.
I've got a question.
Yes, please.
I really don't understand what like angstroms. Is this like a distance or what is
It's
angstroms?
a distance. It's a distance. Yeah, I think
Okay.
it's 10 minus 10 meters or something.
And what is like the purpose like of doing it? I don't really get why we
Yes,
zone
imagine
something.
Sorry, why we?
Why do we zone something? I mean, I don't really understand because we just looked at the B chain, right? And then we used the zone selection parameter stuff.
Yeah, imagine for example, we will have an example on this in a moment, where we are going to look at the contacts of the glycerol. Like if you have a question about, for example, imagine you want to know which residues in this protein are important to keep the glycerol in place. This will give you an answer. We are going to look at this in a moment. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool, but of course, good question. Please keep talking. This is very good. Now, this was a question before, so you are very clever because you are advancing in general. You know my points. Of course, you can select by residue number. So for this, you have to go to select, go to atom specifier, then you have a little window, and then the format is it's a bit komisch. So you have to put the colon, the Doppelpunkt, and then you can give a range. And then if maybe you need to specify the chain. You don't have to, but if there will be multiple chains and they would have residues with the same numbers, all of them would be selected in all the chains. So to be sure in this case, for example, you can put the stop, the dot, and then A, and then it will be used to select residues from this example, from 1510 to 1520 in the chain A. Okay. So this would be the format. I show you now how to do this. I'm going to cover. Sorry. So I go select. Sorry, I go to select. Atom specifier is here. Okay. Then there should be a small window like this. And then when you do things, I recommend you to you can say OK, and then but then the window goes away. If you say apply, then the window stays. And so if you want to try different things, it's nice to use apply, and it's the same thing. But I'm going to do that now. Okay, so and then I say apply. You see the window is there. It didn't go away. And then the selection happened over here. Okay. And you will use this. So somehow you can write this down somewhere, this format, these examples, because you are going to use it later, and maybe you forgot, was it semicolon or colon or what? So then you have the script anyway. Okay, so
one question.
Yes,
How
please.
do I put the molecule in the first position, like when I opened it on the standard position? Can I do that?
Yes. So you luckily we can close the session.
Oh, I have to close the whole session.
It's not or we move to the next point that you have advanced, which is focusing. Okay, so to do just what you just say, when you in actions, there's a menu here, actions. When you focus, that will focus in whatever you have selected. So to answer your question, say for example that I have this selection here. So please just everybody, you don't need to follow my instructions. Actually, you can just try approximately what I'm doing. But if you have some selection, could be one residue, could be a chain, whatever. If you go to focus, it's helpful because it will allow you to see the things that are around, and it's kind of hiding things that are not too close. But once you are done and you want to go back, like your colleagues say, you can, if you hit the arrow up several times, eventually you select everything. And now, so I selected everything hitting the arrows up. And now if I go to actions, focus, then I get back to the more or less to the original view. Okay, so the focus becomes the entire molecule. But really, like, you can close, click the button, and then you get everything again. Okay.
Ah, okay.
And maybe we move to so pivot is about the rotation point of the molecule. So this is not super important, but maybe the same thing. I will pass you this presentation, and so maybe these are commands that may be useful for you if you have to look at particular protein structures in your work. So you notice that this protein is rotating around the center of the molecule. Okay, so when I rotate and say that you want to focus somewhere and rotate, I don't know, around the chain B for whatever reason. So then you can select something on it. So I go control click on it, and then I don't need to focus. Focus will do the same thing, but I don't need to focus. I could go to actions and set pivot. Okay. And then I keep the focus in the entire molecule, but now it's rotating around that residue. Okay, which for some things may be practical, but currently now for looking at this molecule is not very helpful. But if I select everything again and then I in actions I set pivot again, it kind of goes back to the original rotation point. Okay. So now we are going to do the zone selection using the glycerol molecule. So for this, you need to select the glycerol molecule, and there will be an exercise about this. Okay. So you need to select the molecule of glycerol, a complete molecule. So you have to control click on it, maybe hit the arrow once to be sure that it's completely selected. And then I want you to select zone with that selection to answer the questions, the next two questions. And I must say that to the Hibis that the answer that I have given to you in our script is wrong due to a technical issue. So it's we'll see.
Sorry, which glycerol molecule are we talking right now?
Yes.
From?
So if I'm covering this again, I'm sorry. So remember that there is here in this molecule, there is a little molecule over there that is represented with the red.
Yes.
With the red.
I don't see the protein now. Yes, now I see. Thank you.
Oui, okay. So that would be the glycerol molecule. Maybe I start already because in the interest of time. So I control click somewhere there. And then if I hit the arrow once up, it is selected. Okay, you sit down, up. I go out and so you have to, once you select that, you need to go to select, say zone, say apply the default less than 5 angstroms. And then the questions are these two here. So how many residues? Imagine you would be interested in trying mutations in the protein to disrupt its interaction with glycerol. Okay. So this would be a way to find out. You could try to do this manually, but this would give you an answer which is based on some measurements. Okay. And then the question is there a cysteine among those? You can guess the answer is yes, of course. Otherwise, why Miguel would ask us about this? And which residue number?
I got an answer for the first question.
Let's see, because there was I did a mistake, and let's see if you get it right. Let me know.
But I really think it's not true because I think it's the wrong thing that got marked. But now I got marked glue 1431B.
B.
But I think that's
no, not B. No, it cannot be. They should be all from A, from the chain A.
And how can I remove the
selection? Okay,
the selection.
You can go down with the arrows, I guess, and then because you need to start with the glycerol. Eh? This is there. Already there are some residues around that have been represented in a different way. We will talk about this in a moment.
So first, I have to tap on the molecule.
Yes, correct. I'm doing this again. Okay, so I control click somewhere on it. Ah, good. So and then if I hit the arrow up once, I select the molecule. If I go over, then I select more things, but then you can go down again. Ping, ping. You see? I'm going to do it now. Okay. Then you go to select, and then you go to zone, and don't change anything. Just say okay, and you see, I can use action focus if you want, and now we see it better. You have more residues, and now, and of course, you need to go and count here. So one residue, the cysteine. Okay.
I have the answer, I think, ready.
Please, yes.
So I counted 8 residues.
Yes, 8 residues. 8 residues is correct. Yeah.
And the cysteine is at position 1706 on the chain A.
Yeah. Note that, and this was my mistake. If I control click, I do that. Yes, I don't know. Let's say I control click here and I don't hit the arrow up and I select zone. The selection is smaller because I'm looking. I started with something that is smaller. Okay, so I didn't start with the whole molecule. I started with things that are close to this particular atom, not with the molecule. Okay, so this is a technicality, but this was
I selected the whole
molecule.
Glycerol.
You're correct. That's why you got the right answer. Good. I don't want to go over time very much, so I'm going to show you how to select distances, but we are not going to do the exercise because there is no, I really want to show you things, and I think there's no point to employ so much time on this detail. So to make distances, you have to go to the menu tools. Then there is something called structure analysis, and then there is distances. And so if you manage to get this example, I think it's good to play with it. I'm going to show you once, and I think intuitively is and you don't need to answer the question. You can, you can do this if you want later and ask me, but there is no, we don't have a lot of time. So I'm going to do, so what you need to do is to select 2 atoms in the image, okay? And so because we want to see the distance between 2 atoms. So for example, the exercise is about measuring the distance from this sulfur of the cysteine to these oxygens. So what I would do, is the control click for the first selection, And now I need to select a second atom because I want to measure the distance between two atoms. So I would, and that you do it with Control Shift. So it's a bit, so you press Control, you press Shift, and then you go and click there. So now I have two atoms, okay? And now I go to Tools, then it's called Structure Analysis. There are many possibilities. Of course, this software is free, so feel free to try if you want. And then we have distances. I get a window here. And then if I see create, it will create the distance, a representation between the two atoms that I selected. And it's telling me the distance, and there is this line and so on, so that I can see the representation. Okay. I will move on to representation now. Start doing the exercise. So of course we can color things and represent them in different ways. So for example, if you select chain, you have a selection. For example, chain B. In actions, you can color things, and we would use this after the break to look at the domains of the protein that we are looking at now. So maybe you can try this. And also representations of the structure can be done in different ways. So the representation we have now, I'm going to cover, sorry. I close the session, I open it again. Okay, so this representation that we are having here is the ribbon representation, but there are other types of representations. So for example, here we are showing only secondary structure and we are not looking at the side chains. But for example, you could say, I'm going to select maybe, so I select chain B. So in select chain B, action, color, red, see there. And now let's say that I want to see the side chains. So I can say in actions, I want to show all the atoms. Okay. And then it's adding to the ribbon representation, is adding some side chains represented as sticks. Okay, so that you can see each residue with each side chain. This is something really to play with and to so if you need to represent a protein structure, it's something you can play with and try different representations. And for example, in Chimera now I have two representations together, the ribbon and these side chains, and I could go to actions, and I can go to ribbon, and I can say hide. Okay, so now I have only the alpha chain and the side chains represented as sticks. Okay, and another representation that is quite useful is I can say actions, atoms, bonds. Here I can decide how I want these atoms to be shown. Currently they are shown as sticks, but if I use the option sphere, this is the one that I'm using in the script. Okay, here this representation, now you can appreciate that we can see how the protein is really filling the space. So this is more accurate regarding the reality of the representation. But we cannot see now the secondary structure elements. So you can appreciate that in this case, we can see, these are beta strands. This is a helix here. This is a globular part, and so on. So you can understand how the alpha chain is composing this protein, correct? But you don't really know whether, for example, this part of the protein over here is touching this part of the protein, right? To answer this question, I'm going to do that. I would select this chain. I would go to actions. I would say atoms, bonds, show. And then I would say, again, in atom bonds, I want to show them, of course, but as spheres. Okay, and I didn't move the view. I'm showing many things, but I hope you get the feeling. But I can still see that this part is not touching this part. Okay, so there is a space there. This I'm sure now. I could go back and say actions atom bonds hide here, and then I'm back to the previous representation. Okay, I know it's many things, but it's combining these representations. You can gain representations of the protein that may be helpful for you. Maybe so we will not do the next exercise because I really want to stick to the time. But we are going to let's move to this last exercise to finish, and then we take a break. So I would like you to close the session and to load another protein. So you have to fetch by ID, and that would be one glue, one GLU. And like I said, so it's a glucocorticoid receptor. It's bound to DNA, so I think it's quite nice to see. And then we are going to do a bit of a representation exercise together, which I think shows a bit of the functionality of Chimera and things that you can do. So I hope you can follow the instructions. Really, I mean, maybe 3 or 4 minutes more, and then we are done before a break. If you can have questions, let me know. But then I will do it myself in a moment. But it's nice if you can try to do the things.
Maybe the person for which the Chimera didn't show anything at all wants to go into a room with a Hiwi and see if it gets going maybe in the break, so you can afterwards at least get some hands-on experience.
It would be, yeah, that's I mean, that would be nice, very, very nice of you. We will be using it a bit in the second part. It's not absolutely necessary to understand the concept, which is in the end all about it, but it would be more it would be nice if this person can really use Chimera and follow.
Yeah, so if she wants to, she can like write me or another Hiwi and we can see if we can get it going. That's just an offer for the person.
Thank you very much.
I try to install Chimera on my computer now, and if it doesn't work this way, then thank you. I write you.
Thank you.
Okay, all right.
Then let's do this last one. Okay, so I do it on the side, so not to. I'm going to show now. Okay, sorry. Again, if someone needs to see the instructions, but you have them also in the script anyway. But let me know. So here we have a particular representation of DNA that you probably can change, and this protein is a dimer. Okay, and it's a please, yes, it's a receptor, glucocorticoid receptor, and here is binding to the DNA. And the question is, what is the type of amino acids that are interacting? What are the properties of the amino acids interacting with the DNA? And so first thing is you select. We are going to, and this is of course you can color anyway, but it's important that we color the positive residues one color and the negative one. So select, and then in residue you can do it by category. You don't need to go here. Okay. We have aliphatic, by the way. This is I thought it's a term that is not used very much, but I see that I'm wrong. Okay, so we select positive residues, action. I'm going fast now because I know how to do this, of course, but blue, select residues, negative, action, color red, okay? And yeah, it's not, we can see already maybe,
Das ist ruhig.
but let's, now we can generate a surface around the protein, which is a nice way to represent things. But so this is done. This I saw in the previous exercise that we didn't do. So there is where is that? Surface. Action surface. Yeah, here is actions surface. So you need to if you are going to do and you will see this in a moment. So you can generate a surface surrounding one or two molecules, whatever you have selected. Okay, so and then so what you need is to select the proteins, but the problem is that the script is not working very well if the DNA is present. So we need to delete the DNA. And in any case, delete means that from this, of course, it's not deleted from the PDB record in the in the database. It's only deleted of the copy you have in the computer, but you cannot get it back in this version of Chimera. So if you control click on the DNA, and then you select part. So in this case, we have a strand. You can in actions, you have the option of delete. You can go to atoms, bonds, and delete, which you cannot undo. So actions, atom bonds, delete. Start here. And then I control click. I hit arrow up, actions, atom bonds, delete. And now to generate a surface of something, I need to do a selection. So I control click there, I hit up. And then action surface show is here. Action surface. So, and then I have this kind of envelope of my protein. So I can say action surface hide. You see, so this is the protein action surface so that I get an idea of where the protein is reaching, and it keeps the coloring that I use. Okay, so we have this the negative, the positive residues, positive residues color in blue, and the negative in red. And already we can see, well, this was the part that was in contact with the DNA, and it's mostly these positive residues. Okay, so we can, to get back the DNA, actually you can do what I told you not to do, which is to if you open the open, can I fetch by? No, sorry, if you fetch again, exactly, no, I have to, what was the identifier? Sorry. Because I have to open again the same PDB, one glue. Yeah, okay, I should have remembered this. So if I fetch by ID again, I say one glue, then it brings the molecules back again, and so I can see the DNA now with my surface, which makes for a pretty figure. So you can see the positive residues, which makes sense. So you have positive residues interacting with DNA that has the phosphates, which are negative. But the other nice thing to notice is that you have, I think this is pretty obvious, that you have some negative residues on the sides. Okay, so it's like you have, sure, you have these positive ones to attract, but then you have some negative residues very cleverly located to push the DNA in place where it should be. Okay, I think this is pretty easy to see. Okay, so they are here like on the sides and on the sides. Okay, so it's nice to see that. Okay, so we are a bit over time. Can we? How long do do you want a break of 10 minutes, for example? Is that okay?
Yeah.
If yeah, so then I would like I would resume at the viertel for 11. Okay, 10:45.
Okay, good. Okay.
See you then.
Okay.
For domains.
I have a quick question.
Please, yeah, I'm around.
If it's possible to show like a zone within 5 angstrom if I have this surface thing on, because I just wanted to see if the DNA strand is like closer or 5 angstrom to
should be possible. I never tried that. Can you? I'm stupid. I closed my Chimera too quickly. But if you have it, you can actually try. Yeah. You can try yourself. It should be possible.
I tried, and it only highlighted the other half of the DNA molecule, but nothing in the like big thing.
Okay. I can look.
Yes.
I never tried that before. This is the beauty of teaching, is that you get lots of interesting suggestions from you.
Yes. I'm gonna try to make the surface away again and see if it works then, or maybe the DNA is just more far away than 5 angstrom.
I don't think. I think it should be in contact.
Yes, I also thought that it must, be in contact, but I didn't. It didn't highlight anything. I'm gonna try.
Also, whoever had a problem starting Chimera or whatever, that may be more than one person, maybe raise your hands, and then the assistants, like, we can try and check and try and see if we can help you in these 10 minutes. I know Azad, you here? I think you're. So you haven't done anything yet, but anyone that has a problem, raise your hand, and maybe we can try and fix it in these 10 minutes.